And we are live for the debut episode of All In on West Essex Sports with your host, Sophia Duarte. Sophia is joined tonight by West Essex girls volleyball coach Bryan McNaught. Welcome, Sophia.
Coach McNaught, thank you for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
So we just had our opening match against Nutley today. So we lost by a score of 2-1. Were you happy with the team's performance? What would you be able to tell us and some areas of improvement?
Off the top of my head, I mean, no, you're never happy when you lose. It's a team that has a lot of players who are new to varsity. So a tremendous amount of turnover from last season. So, learning how to compete and finish games is going to be probably the biggest lesson we have to learn this year. And I think the way today's loss stings, hopefully it really helps us turn a corner going forward. Because we got to play again tomorrow, so we need to learn the lesson quickly.
Yeah. Let's look ahead at our next opponent, and that's Payne Tech. So what team keys to success are in tomorrow's matchup?
I think, Payne Tech is an up-and-coming team. They're a very ambitious team. They were in the Colonial Division last year and won it. And I think they were frustrated at the county meeting that they weren't getting the respect they felt they deserved. So they actually pushed to move up into our division. So I think if we don't go in there with the right mindset, which has been a problem for us, it's going to be a tighter contest than it should be. So again, I think we need to work on, playing to our strengths, overall team communication, staying mentally locked in. I mean, those are going to be the talking points before tomorrow's game, and just emphasizing that every game is important right now. Losses hurt in terms of our division record. They hurt for the county seating. They hurt for power points in the states. But it's also we're only one game in, and we don't want to, start kicking ourselves in the foot too soon.
Yeah, mentality was a hard thing today because I feel like a lot of people broke down, and I didn't like seeing that with them because to be a volleyball player, and I know I've experienced this too, like you have to get over your mistakes because it is a game of mistakes. So that's a thing that everyone needs to learn and get over within the season, especially for tomorrow, because we can't start off with a bad record on our side, if that makes sense.
And that sounds like you've heard me say that before.
It does.
That's why you're a captain, kid. Right? That's something I need your help with.
We have
doing a great job.
We have a question here.
Oh, I was going to get your comment in there. Absolutely. Excuse me, Sophia, before you get to your next question, we have a comment from actually my co-host on All In on High School Sports, Kurt Valenti, saying, glad to debut this West Essex show. My question for Coach, is volleyball a sport where you see a lot of freshmen play on varsity?
We have a senior who played freshman year, played on varsity. I think, that was during that COVID season, but she stepped up and has done really well. Last year, we had a freshman who came into varsity and started playing as a middle, who was an area of need for us last year. She's returned as a sophomore and is a key to our offense. And right now, Sophia is kind of in a position battle with a freshman who does a nice job with setting. It happens. If they're ready to play, our job is to find the best combination of girls to put out there. So if it happens to be a freshman, so be it.
Yeah. All right. So the next question is, this weekend we are also competing in a tournament in Clifton. Can you tell us a little bit more about this event and things that you're going to predict what will happen? Because we've had a few tournaments in the past and we've done really well with those, but what do you think will happen this weekend?
My approach for this tournament is the same. It's they're not official games, so it doesn't impact our record at all. And what we've done in the past is, okay, we're going to play, these four opponents. Here are the different rotations we're going to use, regardless of win or loss. It helps people get involved in the team. It helps people fight for spots. It helps me take a look at girls in different rotations. The expectation is to play and compete. And I think, if we win the tournament, great. But if we come out of the tournament learning how to finish games, learning how to maintain runs, learning how not to shut down after mistakes, then that'll be a successful tournament.
This weekend, are we fixing up like rotation wise and seeing who could fit into where? Like, do you think that this weekend rotation wise will impact the rest of the season? What you think, like players working well together for future starting rotations?
100%. We have a starting player who currently goes all the way around in our rotation, who is going to be out of town for a wedding. So, I mean, that opens the door for other girls to go into that spot. I want to keep the system the same because I think we have the right personnel to run this system. But, if girls step into these spots and play really well, then they're staying in.
Yeah, I think team chemistry within the rotation is really important. So seeing like who works well together and like testing the waters within like, even if it's not like what you would think is a starting player, could actually become like someone who can go all the way around, or this weekend could surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I think I've got my eye on a girl or two who by the end of the year, I could see pushing some people out.
Okay, so next question is that last year we finished a record of 14-10. We competed in the SEC Liberty Division and advanced to the quarterfinals of the North 2 Group State Tournament. What are the goals for you in the season?
I don't. Championship isn't a word I want to use until we start playing for them. I think ultimately any team walking into a season is setting those goals, but I think our focus right now is just push beyond what we've done in the past. I'd love to get into the county semifinals because then anything can happen. I think with the right approach to the rest of the season, maybe a sectional semifinal, and then anything can happen. But we started the year 0-1. So you don't want to be foolish in saying, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. If we don't turn the page on Friday, there's not going to be much talk about what's coming next. It's going to be, what are we doing tomorrow?
Yeah. During the summer league, and like preseason during the summer, like or in July, I had a lot of hope for the team and I saw a lot of potential, and I could see that a lot of people improved throughout the off season. So I had positive visions for this group that we're playing with.
You better still have them.
What was it?
So you better still have them.
No, I do, but within like these past few scrimmages, I just see mentality changes is so much different from that summer league when we had like really good games and really high energy, that it just got brought down and it really needs to be fixed. I think a key to winning is also energy, not even just on the court, but like on the bench. That's why I tell the bench, I'm like, scream and like support your team, because if not, you're like, it's not going to have any hopes for anyone in order to win a game.
I think the biggest difference between what we do in the summer and what we do now is the pressure.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when we talked about this after the scrimmages, the scrimmage is a glorified practice. Saturday's tournament is a glorified practice. Today was real. And I think people got a little too excited when we were playing well, and they got way too down when we made mistakes. And we talked about that after the first set. Like, great, you won the first set. The job was only half done at that point. And that's not a problem I think that's unique to girls volleyball. I think learning how to handle those situations is going to help you on the volleyball court. It's going to help you off the volleyball court. And the goal of our coaching staff right now is to force you to take that step.
I could see towards the end of the game, a lot of girls felt like a lot of pressure on their shoulders. And a few girls did think that like those last few mess ups towards the last set, end of the set, was completely all their fault, reason why they lost the game. But I did tell them, I said to them, there were people that messed up, and the whole team messed up to get to that point. Like, it wasn't your fault that you lost the game for your team when you messed up once towards the end. That was towards like the end of the game. It was a whole team combined that was messing up. It wasn't specifically just one person. And that's
Right.
what everyone needs to get out of their head, that they're the only ones messing up.
And I think that ties into what I'm saying about, even Coach Walsh, our assistant coach, brought it up, that when the game's at 12, 13 points, if we're up, we start thinking, oh, got this in the bag, and you take your foot off the gas. And if we're down, we start dragging. But no, it's not. If it's game point and you miss the serve, you didn't lose the game.
Yeah.
If that team has 25 points, and there were probably 14, 15 other mistakes. No discredit to Nutley at all, but there were a lot of points that we just gave away.
Yeah.
And they took advantage of their opportunities, and they didn't get down. They didn't get down when they lost the first set. They didn't get down when they were behind in both sets, right? They just kept doing what they were trained to do and doing what they were good at. So
yeah.
I think if we can turn that corner where you got to start trusting what we're telling you, right? Good things will come.
Yeah, everyone on that court knew our potential and knew that we were better skill-wise than Nutley, but the thing is the mentality breaks that it was like ruining everyone. Yeah. And that's something that everyone needs to get over at this point.
And that's, today Nutley was the better team because they finished.
Yeah.
They came back from being a set down to win 2 straight. So, I mean, more credit to them. Hopefully that's not the case when they show up at our place, because we play them 2 more times this year.
Coach, that was actually a follow-up question I had for you. Since they're in your division, you will see them again?
Yeah, we have probably late September, early October, and we're also hosting a Dig Pink event in October, and they're one of 3 teams coming to us to play in that. So those will be very good games.
And is that a possible county tournament opponent you could see an additional time as well?
I mean, in theory, yeah, we're both Liberty Division teams. So for that matchup to happen, a lot would have to go right, I think, for both of us.
And as Sophia, I'm sorry to interrupt you there. Did you want to end, Coach, with some rapid fire?
Yeah. All right. So before you go, I have some fast-paced questions for you. Well,
Okay.
this one's a little in detail, but you'll understand when I say it to you.
Okay.
Every day I see you with a coffee by your side. Could you explain in great detail what your coffee order is? Where do you get it from? What's in it? Do you like it iced or warm? I want to know it.
The first cup is Folgers, and I make it at home, and we buy it at Costco because it's cheap, and I drink it in volume. Right now, Wawa's got the free coffee for teachers, so Coach Walsh and I take full advantage of that. And with the heat, it's ice, and always just a little bit of milk.
Just plain with milk?
Yes. It's coffee.
Not
dessert. Coffee.
All right. My second question for you is, in general, what would you say is your biggest pet peeve? And not volleyball wise, but anything.
In my classroom, it's throwing garbage from your seat. In volleyball, it's switching off mentally. I mean, that can happen in the classroom. That can happen anywhere. Just if you say you're going to do something,
then
get it done.
This last question, it has to do with the team a little bit.
Okay.
What girl on the team would most likely cut you off on the road?
Russo.
I knew that was going to be the answer. I knew it.
100%. She'd wave and smile while she was doing it too.
All right, that's all the questions I have.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was an absolute pleasure to have you. Sophia, great job in your debut episode, and thank you everyone for watching.